Namaste. Today is Friday the 13th. Woo! So, what do you feel when I say Friday the 13th? Culturally, there's a lot of superstition around this day. And in this little talk, I want to peel back the layers a bit. So, superstitious. Absolutely. They say, like, insurance companies note how fewer accidents and incidents happen on Friday the 13th simply because people are afraid of things happening, so they take extra caution and they don't drive and leave the house as much. And they claim that like millions of dollars are lost businesses because people won't sign contracts and they won't travel and take normal day activities in fear of this day, in fear of something horrible happening, right? Now, I love this day. I feel really good about it. This is Friday the 13th. Two symbols of the great goddess, of the feminine, not just women or within women, but within all of us, okay? Friday, Freya, Frigga, Venus, the planet Venus, the goddess Venus. Friday comes from Freya, which is arguably the same goddess as Venus. Of course, these aren't easily categorizable, but she represents like the epitome of feminine energy, like beauty, right? Creativity and sensuality. Of course, Venus, the planet, she reflects to you wherever, whatever zodiac Venus was in when you were born, reflects to you what your pleasures, how you perceive pleasure, desires, passion, right? This is the archetype of Venus, Freya. She was associated with black cats and some like really slick, mysterious, feminine vibes with Friday. And of course, Friday was the end of the week, representing rest after lots of yang energy. It's like the yin, time to lie down and just be and rest, right? Have pleasure, enjoy, do what you're passionate about. This is the energy of Friday. And you combine that with 13, which depends what culture you're in, but in the West, it's generally deemed as like a scary number. Lots of airports don't have the 13th gate, and lots of hotels and buildings don't have the 13th floor, because it's unlucky and a little, yeah, superstitious. But let's peel that back a bit. 13 is the number of the feminine, right? So there are 13 lunar phases in a year. As we go around the sun once, the moon goes around the earth 13 times, which is generally in sync with the woman's menstrual cycles, or moon cycles, I'd rather use. Women will bleed 13 times in a year. As we cycle around the sun once, we'll bleed 13 times if you're synced up to the moon. Of course, modern society, a lot of women are not synced up to the moon for a very number of reasons, artificial lights and food and all the hormones, etc., etc. But generally, if a woman is synced up to the natural cycles around her, she will bleed 13 times in 1 year. And it is a number of change, of transformation. You look at 12. 12 in numerology is the number of completion, right? There's 12 hours in a day, there's 12 calendar pages, 12 months of the year, and 12 signs in the zodiac. It's like complete. I've arrived at 12. Perfect, static. And 13 is that extra, it throws things off, maybe, but it's the sign of transformation, right? In like Egyptian belief systems, there was 13 like levels of consciousness, and the 13th, the 12 were very earthly, and then 13th you are in another level. You have ascended spiritually into another level. And in a lot of ways, it is that number that represents change, which a lot of our culture does not like, right? The death and the rebirth, right? 12 is completion, 13 is like birthing into the new, letting go of the old, which ties into the woman's moon cycles, right? You're like, it's the symbol of letting go of what was, stepping into what will be. It's that flow. And a lot of ancient cultures had great reverence for 13 because it represented flow and change and going with the flow, right? And also fertility, blood, creation, life. These are all symbols of the woman's moon cycle, woman syncing up to the moon cycle, the greater cycles that are all around us that we are merely a part of. So, Friday the 13th, super powerful day for both men and women to tap into their feminine energies and get juicy. Like, what do you want to create in this world? What are you passionate about? What really brings you pleasure? What brings you joy? And just have a great reverence for life, all the life forms around us. Of course, there's a black cat. Hey, you! Yes, life, fertility, the ongoing of life is something we could all devote ourselves to a little bit more. Tapping into the earth, the moon, the cosmos. Okay, blessings on this day, Friday the 13th.